Okay, welcome to the second part. This is your soulmate client research. So today, what you are going to learn is how to do target market research the right way. I've seen many ways to do this. I've done this in many different ways, and I want to show you what I believe is the most effective way. Why it's essential to know your soulmate client, which we touched on in the last lesson. We're going to dive deeper here. The tools required to do this the right way. So I've built a lot of tools for you so that this is really easy for you to execute. How to get clients while conducting your research. We're going to cover that. Things to avoid while doing your research, and so much more here, okay? So why is soulmate client research important? Number one, it helps you refine your messaging so that you compel clients to say, I need that. In the last lesson, I asked you to think about a product or service or something you clicked on that, really got your attention and made you feel really compelled to work with that person or to buy that product or service, whatever it was, okay? We want that for you. So we want your soulmate clients to see your ads, to see your marketing copy, to meet you at a meeting, and to say, I need to work with this person. Again, it helps you create powerful copy on all of your digital platforms. So email, website, socials, all that good stuff. It supports the language in which you communicate when meeting people. So again, this works online and offline. It influences how you design your programs and services as well. So again, it doesn't matter to me what industry you're in. If you're really clear on who your soulmate client is, you're constantly paying attention and tweaking and ensuring that what you are offering is in alignment with what these people want. And again, it ensures that you're always aware of what they want, that you're keeping that line of communication open, right? So, okay, we're going to just dive right into it. So my goal for you is to get on the phone or sit down with at least 5 people that you believe are your soulmate client, the people that you love to work with or would love to work with, okay? So I'm going to give you a bunch of scripting after this, but I want you to see what the questions are that you're going to be asking them in these conversations. So you know what the biggest problem for your target market is, right? In the last video, we talked about getting pre-baby body back, right? So if that's the problem, you're going to be looking for new moms who want their pre-baby body back, right? And so then you would ask them, what is the biggest frustration with your body right now and why, right? So you're going to just deep dive. And I always recommend asking 3 to 5 layers deep. You saw this in an exercise from last week, but why is that important to you? What does that get you? Is there anything else? So continuing to deep dive here. I mean, you want kind of like a novel from each of these interviews as you're taking notes. Ask them what's stopping you from solving this problem. So are there outside factors? Is there family, kids, work? What is it? Or do they have these limiting beliefs that start to come up about, well, I'll never be able to achieve that, or I'll never be able to have that, or anything like that that comes up, right? What other programs, products, or services have you tried? This is going to do a couple of things. Number one, it's going to give you an indicator about their level of commitment, or really, again, you just want to know what their past experience has been, and it'll also tell you if they are willing to potentially invest in working on this problem with you. Why didn't they work and what was missing from your experience? This is great because it allows you to see gaps in other, programs and services and make sure that you are filling those gaps in your service, right? What do you really want? What would life look like for you if you solved this problem? Okay. So get to the heart of it, right? And remember, 3 to 5 layers down. Don't just take their first answer. Say, why is that important to you? What does that get you? How does that feel? Is there anything else? Okay. So keep digging and digging and digging. And you're taking notes on all of this the whole time because these notes become your marketing gold. Then you're going to ask, what is your biggest fear about solving this problem? Or if you don't solve this, or what is their biggest fear if they don't solve this problem, right? So what you will find, interestingly enough, is that oftentimes people have fear of both success and failure, right? So They actually have fear around if they are successful in achieving their goal. You know, if we're talking about the new mom example, you know, they might have a fear that if they get to where they want to be, that their other new mom friends will talk about them behind their back, or they won't, you know, they won't like her anymore because, you know, they're jealous or whatever the thing may be. More often than not, they're going to have more fears about not solving the problem, but you want to ask both, okay? So what are the top 3 things you'd like to accomplish in the next 90 days around this problem? So they could be, you know, goals for activity, or they could be results oriented, whatever is going to move them forward toward their goal, right? And how does this, having this problem affect other areas of your life? Health, relationships, finance, spiritual. So just using the new mom example, you know, health wise, obviously, you know, she, may be considered to be in an unhealthy weight class now, you know, just who knows, we're making this up. She may be experiencing, I don't know, blood sugar issues or something like that from the pregnancy, who knows. Relationships, this is probably a big one for this example. You know, she may not feel attractive enough to want to let her husband see her without clothes on anymore, right? So it could be affecting their intimacy. Finance, maybe it affects her there, maybe it doesn't. Maybe she had to go out and buy a whole new wardrobe, right? So it could certainly affect. Spiritual, maybe she is feeling a little bit of loss of identity and disconnected from herself, and it's affecting her in that realm. Who knows? You got to ask these questions to find out, right? So setting up your interviews. So I actually made a handout with all of those questions. So you can download that, and all of this stuff is in handouts for you so that you don't have to memorize the slides or anything like that. So setting up your interviews. Make a list of people who fit your target market, right? These could be current clients, they could be friends, family, people you know. And then make sure though that they are in that target market. Like that's really, really the key. So you can put on this list also, so you're listing people you know, but you're also listing people maybe you know of, right? Maybe you met them at a networking event, or maybe your friend was telling you they know a new mom who really needs your help. Like that would be a great person to talk to as well. So they don't have to be people who you have a strong relationship with already, if that makes sense. Are you in Facebook groups that have your target market? I'm going to talk about do's and don'ts with this, but like, let's say, you know, I'm just going to keep using the same example. Let's say you're in a Facebook group for new moms, or for athletes, or for, you know, engaged women, or whatever. I don't know. You're in that Facebook group. Can you use that group to make a post, which I'll show you an example of, that gets people to volunteer for these interviews? That could always be a great place. Do you have past clients who fit? So those are just a couple of places to look at for setting up your interviews. You should have no problem. 5 is really your minimum, ideally closer to 10, okay? So reaching out to these people, again, this is all on a handout for you. So you're going to call the people that you know that you want to interview, and let them know that you're working on making your program or service even more awesome, and ask if they'd be willing to have a quick chat. You could text them this for sure as well. Or if you think you know someone who knows people in your target market, ask them who they know who fits your target market, and would they be willing to connect to you, right? That's a really easy ask. This you'll also have a lot of success with. So I actually wrote out the survey questions for you. So you're going to make a survey, let's say in SurveyMonkey, for example, which is a free service for up to 10 questions in a survey, which I kept it at 10 for you. You're going to say, hi, I'm looking for new moms. I'm working on an exciting project and I'd love your feedback. Feel kindly complete these 10 questions. I'd love to send you something, right? Like it could be a free download, or a series of at-home workouts, or a nutrition plan, something like that. Whatever is relevant to you and your industry, okay? And here's the catch, right? You want to put some qualifiers on there, okay? So insert 3 qualifiers. And again, these need to be really specific to your person. So when I did this for business owners, I made the requirement that you have to own your own service-based business, right? Because I don't work with typically product-based businesses as much, and I don't work with employees of businesses. So I had 3 qualifiers that made sure that I was that I was having the right type of person fill out my survey. And that's really important. Otherwise, you're going to get non-accurate information. Then we have an email script. So you can call, you can text, you can do your social post, and here's an email script. So, hey there, I'm reaching out because I'm looking to create more content and services that would be interesting to you. Would you take a minute to share with me your biggest frustration with X? So you could actually send this specifically to people that you know. You could send this to just your email list in general. You know, if it's segmented, even better. If not, no big deal. So I know your time is valuable, so I greatly appreciate it. And I know you'll benefit from the great content I can create based on your answer. So keep it super quick and simple. And then as you conduct your interviews, you're going to go through a process. They're going to be doing most of the talking. They should really be talking like 85 to 90% of the time, but you want to thank them profusely for taking the time to talk with you, share a little background, let them know why this is important to you, ask them if they identify with the problem that you're talking about. If they can't, you're on the phone with the wrong person, okay? And we want to kind of politely wrap it up as quickly as possible, but let them know they can be totally open and that everything is confidential, and then set the expectation for time so that they aren't like, you know, shocked if it goes long, or if, you know, some people like to talk a lot. So you may not have all day either. So set an expectation for time for this interview. If it goes a little long and it's a really worthwhile quality conversation, totally okay. Then you are going to take the results of this research and you're going to make an offer. So this is really how you get clients from your target market research, okay? So you're gonna say something like this: the result of this research will result in a free workshop. Doesn't have to be a workshop, right? It can be anything you want it to be for target market, which should be them. And it will focus on getting them unstuck from whatever the problem you're discussing is. Does that sound good to you? What would be the best way for me to let you know when this is ready? So that's amazing, right? That is an amazing way to get a yes, to contact with them, follow up with them about the problem that they have. That's awesome. So this is where you're going to be able to actually convert clients or prospects into clients during this or after this, okay? Part 3, this is at the end. You've asked them all the questions, and as you're asking the questions, though, like, confirm, this is amazing. I'm getting so much great insight. I'm taking tons of notes. Thank you, thank you, thank you, right? And then you thank them again at the end, and then ask them, is there anything I can do for you? Just leave it open-ended. They may say no, or they may say, you know what, I'd really love to come sit down and talk to you, okay? So you just never know. So leave it open-ended with that question. And then you'll say something like, do you know anyone else who would be great for me to speak to about this? And take their information down, right? And then the next day, send a thank you. I would love for you to send like a thank you card in the mail if you can, but if not, just a sweet text message or Facebook message or email, whatever, will also do the trick. Working with past clients, you're going to have a very similar conversation, but you might want to ask just a couple of different questions or additional questions in there, like, what made you want to work with me? What problem were you looking to solve? How did you feel when you first met me? That kind of thing. And for these people, your past clients, offer them some type of service, product, book, or something for free as a thank you. You could even offer them to like come train with you for a week or two for free if it fits your model, free nutrition guide or whatever. There's a lot you could offer them, but they've already had the experience with working with you. And if they've agreed to get on the phone with you, it was a good experience. So it'd be great to get them back in, okay? And throughout the target market research, I mean, you really are building that problem again, right? So it's a really good chance not only to re-engage past clients, but to kind of hook potential clients as well. How to use this information. After you've done your interviews, you want to highlight the visceral words and phrases, both positive and negative. So the things that they deeply desire and the things they find deeply painful. Both of those things are going to be used in your marketing going forward. So then I want you to think about, does your results statement solve their problem? Okay, I want to make sure that it does. So go back to your results statement after you've done all these interviews. Does it solve their problem? If yes, awesome. If not, let's tweak it. What are their primary pain points, and what are the biggest benefits they see to solving their problem? That is all marketing copy and language gold. Yay. Some mistakes that I want you to avoid. Number 1, interviewing or allowing just anyone to fill out your survey. That's why those qualifiers are really important, right? The second thing is researching the wrong group of people. Don't just interview your friends. You really want to talk to people who are most definitely in your target market. Then research any client that you already have. Those are great people to talk to, but not just any client. You've got to talk to the people who are in your target market. So just because they're currently training with you does not make them a quote unquote soulmate client. So get really clear on who that is that's already in your mix and work with those people. Not going deep enough. Remember I said ask why, or what does that get you 3 to 5 layers deep, because you are most likely not going to get the real answer at surface level is the first answer. So don't be afraid of that. And then misusing Facebook groups. It's just a little side note. I'm all for, if you've got your town moms or your town, looking to buy a home, whatever, that's great. But if it's someone's business Facebook group, don't try to solicit people from there. So for example, if somebody runs that group to essentially sell to and build their list from and all that stuff, that is not the place to do it. So just know the difference between a community group and someone's business group. Okay, so next steps, you're going to set up your interviews. You're going to download all of the tools that you have in here. You're going to create your survey. You're going to post that survey socially, send out the email. And again, the goal is to do at least 5 in-depth interviews. And then you're going to see this in the tools. You're going to write your Dear Diary exercise. So what this is you're going to take all the information that you accumulate from doing these in-depth interviews, from looking at your surveys, from getting those email responses, right? Because you're doing a bunch of different things. You're doing the in-depth interviews, you're doing the surveys, and then you're asking people on your email list or people by email, what is your biggest frustration with X, right? So you're getting lots of great information, lots of great words, phrases, all of that good stuff. And then what you're going to do is you're going to really let that sink in, right? Breathe it in. And then you are going to write a Dear Diary. It's basically a journal for one day in the life of your soulmate client. What does he or she experience when they wake up? What's the first thing they think about? What's the first thing they feel? And I want you to write the day out, start to finish, through their eyes. And the best moment that you are looking at is the moment that your soulmate client needs to find you. It's that moment they're in pain, or in that moment that they have the deep desire to solve their problem and transform. So I hope all of that makes sense. If not, just reach out to me, but it should. Get everything downloaded. This is a big week, so I actually don't expect you to have all 5 interviews done this week. It's going to kind of be like probably a 2-week project, which is fine. But reach out if you need extra support. This is going to be incredibly powerful for you, and I will connect with you soon.